It's Cardinals time.
Yay! Hey everyone! Hi guys, Kairi's here at 91, hanging out with you for this week's edition of Kairi's Cards Cast, alongside the one and only Brian Lutz as per usual. And how are you feeling today, Lutz?
I don't know. I got a little baked earlier, so I'm still kind of coming out of that. I'm bored.
But
There's no football.
You had a Subway sandwich. What do you mean there's no
I
football?
got
The
some
fucking
baked
college
Lay's.
national championship is on like right now.
Exactly. So I don't really care.
I
I didn't go to college like that. I went to NAU, man.
Yeah, the
Lumberjacks in
Lumberjacks,
it,
baby.
so I don't care.
And also this week we have a very special guest that's going to join us for some picks. He was with me last week, and we had a lot of fun, so we figured why not bring him back for another run. The one and only We Came as Bears. How you feeling, Mr. Bears?
I'm doing pretty dang swell.
What'd you think of this most recent weekend of football? Just sum it up for me in a sentence, if you would.
Well, I'm 99% sure that every one of the picks that I made last week came true. So, I'm feeling pretty hot.
99%? That's the same odds of Minnesota making that 27-yard field goal.
Lutz actually is
Wrecked.
Lutz is 0 for 4 on
Yeah.
postseason
I didn't get an
picks.
advanced copy of the script for this postseason, so I didn't realize these storylines are going to be so hectic.
I
But in
sent
my
it to you.
defense, the teams really did win. Like the Bengals and the Vikings, at least, really did win. I can't say the same about the Texans and the Redskins.
Yeah, you pick the Texans, bro. Like that
Yeah.
if you know what, in fairness to Lutz, I think that we weren't aware that Hoyer. I think we thought Whedon
That's
was going
right.
to start, and if Whedon
That's
had
right.
started, I still think the Chiefs would have won, but it would have been like a game. There would have been like something.
But Brian Hoyer threw he's still throwing picks right now. Like he can't give it up.
Some say they're still going.
Shit.
He's at home still throwing interceptions. All right. Okay, so here we go, guys. Let's talk a little bit about the last weekend's games. At the end of the show, we're gonna go around and do our picks for the divisional round. So, we'll get to the controversial ones later. Let's start with the easier ones.
Wait, you want to do the picks for the divisional round before we recap the wild card round?
No, I want to do the wild card round first, and then we'll do the picks at the end. Pay attention. Okay, let's start with Kansas City at Houston. That one, I think the Lutz picked the Texans. I had a hard time picking against the Chiefs, who had just come off a 10 straight. I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs are pretty damn legit and could give New England a run for their money this upcoming weekend here. Bears, how did you feel about that game?
I felt right. I knew it was going to just be an absolute slaughter fest. I like Brian Hoyer, but I just don't. There was no way that the Texans were going to win that game. I'm sorry, Texans fans.
We got a Brian Hoyer fan on the call today, guys. We don't get too many of those around here. Lutz usually has nothing but bad things to say about him. I call him Hoyer the Destroyer, but I originally called him that affectionately, like he destroys the opponents or whatever. But Lutz calls him that like he destroys his team's chances of winning.
Yeah, he's the season destroyer. So I don't know what I was thinking. I always talk shit on the Texans as if they are the worst organization, even though they might not have the worst record or maybe the worst roster. I just feel like in 5 years from now, there's a better chance of seeing the Jags or the Titans actually doing something. I mean, the Titans had like 13-3 season. The Jags used to be like playoff perennials, kind of. But I have no idea why I would go ahead and pick the Texans over the Chiefs, a Chiefs team that I had as potential division winners at the beginning of the season. So here both teams are in the playoffs. I don't know, man. I was just being wild.
It is wild card weekend. It's the season.
Yeah, it was in the spirit of the weekend, man. I was the wild card.
Okay, Green Bay goes to Washington to take on the Redskins. I know a lot of people were saying the Skins had been playing good ball. Yes, kinda, but god damn it, they're still the Redskins, okay? Like that doesn't change just because they're coming out of a terrible division. They had to play 6 games against three god-awful teams in the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, and the other team that's in that division, the Jerry Joneses. And I never felt convinced that the Skins were anything other than the same old Redskins that they've been for the last 15, 20 years. I wasn't sold on them. How about you, Lutz?
Um, I noticed that our boy you like that Kirk Cousins has not beaten in all of his starts. He has not beaten a team that ended the season with a winning record. So he's never beaten like a winning team ever. So that'd be a really great way of like making predictions on for that team, including this last one in the wild card game. So why I picked the Redskins? I just picked all the home games. It was stupid because it was the first time ever that all the wild card teams or the visiting teams won in the wild card round. So odds were on my
You
side, but
you want to know something?
yeah.
In the last, I forget however many years, I heard this stat on Arizona Sports 98.7 today. And I don't remember the span of time, but you could probably do the math and figure it out. The wild card round, the home team versus away team, it is 21 and 24. That is 21 times the road team has won, 24 times the home team has won. So in the wild card round, home field advantage doesn't mean shit.
It sounded
Statistically,
like you just said the same thing twice. That 21 times the home team wins, 24 times the home team wins.
road. No, I meant it the other way. 21 times it's the road team. 24 times it's the home team. That's what I meant to say. So the point is that it's a pretty damned even mix. You don't have a clear statistical advantage for the home team in the wild card round like you do in, let's say, the divisional round or in the conference championship. So home field advantage doesn't mean crap in the wild card round. Bears, how did you feel about the other game we were just talking about, the one with the Packers team and that other team?
Bears are who we thought I thought it was a pretty good game, honestly. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it, to be completely honest. I was up snowboarding yesterday, but I did listen to it on the radio, and I know that sounds very 70s of me, but from what I was gathering in some highlight reels that I watched, it looked like a pretty good game. Redskins had a very, very short lead, which was kind of impressive to me. I thought that the Redskins were playing some good ball, but I think that ultimately, obviously, their demise was met because they Redskins.
Yeah,
They were
that's
they just
okay. So we're gonna move on to the two controversial games, one of which catastrophically controversial. But we'll get to that one in a second. I want to start with the Bengals and Pittsburgh going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. I have a lot I want to say about this one, so bear with me, guys, and then I'll let you.
Banana?
But oh, banana. No, we're not. We haven't gotten to banana yet. We'll get there. Here's what I want to say.
Oh, okay, I like
So
that. I
first of
like
all,
bananas.
Cincinnati had the game wrapped up and they had it won. All they had to do was run the clock out by running the football, and then they went ahead and fumbled it and gave it back to Pittsburgh. Oh, that sucks, but you know what? That shit happens. Whatever. You still have the lead, and Pittsburgh is still way the hell down the field, and they're still got quite a challenge ahead of them to try to march down the field and kick that game-winning field goal. And then Vontez Burfict happened. Vontez Burfict, ASU fans like me, we know this. We remember this. It wasn't. None of us were surprised to see Vontez Burfict lead with his helmet and lay a dirty ass hit on Antonio Brown, because that's what we know Vontez Burfict does. That's why a guy of his talent level went undrafted. All right, a guy that's as good a linebacker as Vontez Burfict doesn't get drafted. That's why. It's because he's dirty and he doesn't play. Hey, turn that off.
sorry.
Turn
I'm
that off,
sorry, I got a phone
kids.
call. I had a phone call. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyways, and then Pac-Man Jones has to fan the flames like he does, and ruin it, like whatever little chance they had of scraping out a win. Pac-Man Jones goes ahead and ruins that by losing his cool and getting all up in Joey Porter's grill. Now I know Joey Porter shouldn't have been on the field. We all know that. Joey Porter had no business stepping foot on the field, but damn it, it worked. What the bullcrap Joey Porter was trying to do, it worked. He was trying to elicit a response that was going to draw a flag, and it worked. He got the flag that he wanted. He got the bonus 15 yards that he wanted. Hey,
I'm
his team
sorry.
got the easy chip shot kick that they wanted, and it was all because Pac-Man Jones took the freaking bait. Hang on, banana.
Fucking ref did a horrible fucking job. You got fucking Jerry Porter in the middle of the fucking field talking shit to everybody, and then when somebody say something to him, he don't even supposed to be on the fucking field.
There you go. That was Adam Pac-Man Jones on Instagram immediately after the game, commenting on the fact that Joey Porter stepped on the field and got in everybody's grill, which caused Pac-Man Jones to shove a ref, giving them another 15 yards. You know what?
And now everybody knows why I wanted a banana.
You got to keep your composure, Pac-Man Jones. I know you're listening. He's a loyal listener to my show. You got to keep your composure, man. It's not you can't let players or other coaches or anybody. You know, a lot of things are said on the football field that get under your skin. If you're thin-skinned and you react to it, that's when you're going to get penalties on your team.
Oh shit! I just figured something out. I know why Red Ghost didn't want to be on the show tonight. I figured out it's just an excuse he gave you about some college game or whatever. Mm-hmm. Think about the relationship between the Red Ghost and Pac-Man.
Oh my God, he's terrified of him.
Oh my God.
Oh, holy shit. This is all coming together. The college football championship was just an excuse. Anyways, so the point is that the Bengals haven't won a playoff game since what, like 1994 or 1991? I don't know. It's been a while since the Bengals have won a playoff game, and they were supposed to win that one, and they blew it. You can't even say, oh, they were unlucky or they got a bad break or things. That's not what that was. That was a lack of discipline. That's all that was. Marvin Lewis does not give that team the discipline that they need when you have unruly players like Montez Burfict and Pac-Man Jones.
You know, one thing that is kind of interesting about that is it's curious that they always fail the more visibility or scrutiny is put on their team. Like when they play in prime time, they can't win those games. A lot of players and a lot of athletes like the idea of having like a celebrity or a star status along with, you know, their athletic gifts. So they kind of aspire for that, getting shoe deals, being in commercials and endorsements. So a lot of these types of guys actually rise to the occasion the more focus is put on them. So because like Vontaze Burfict and maybe Pac-Man Jones to some degree kind of has this like uh, wily sort of attitude and everything, they're probably not used to being like role models with everybody like adulating them and they're giving all this love. Do you think like there's some sort of like maybe subconscious like mentality in the team that has like a fear of success? Like they're actually maybe afraid to be thrust into like all of this visibility by everybody and like having all this attention, where the players maybe if they're not even conscious of it, kind of like blow up their own opportunities because of something that does that make any sense?
Yes, it does. But if that is the case, it is the job of the talent management guys on that team to see that they have players who have those issues and to either fix them or show them the door. That's what I'm saying. The organization.
Some people say this goes up to the owner, Mike Brown, and that is why he keeps Marvin Lewis, who's kind of like, you know, an above average coach, and he definitely will sell like season tickets, but doesn't like have that fire to really like take leadership to outdo everybody around him. So maybe it's like an organizational thing that also kind of promotes that to a degree. I mean, why else would you have a coach that's 0 for 7 right now in his playoff games? I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
Moving on to
Bears are who we thought they were.
What did you think? Did you get a chance to watch any of that game, Bears?
Which one? The Bengals Steelers?
Steelers.
Yes, I did. I actually watched pretty much all of the last half. And I was super excited because I thought the Bengals were going to win it. I was ecstatic. I was really hoping that the Bengals were going to win, but if I recall correctly, last week I said that if AJ McCarron started, the Steelers would win, but if Dalton started, I thought that the Bengals were going to win. And I was almost wrong, and in the best possible way, because I was really hoping that McCarron was able to pull that off. I was really upset as soon as is it Jeremy Hill? Is that the running back's name for
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy
I was like biting my lip the whole time, and not in a sexual way, because I was so upset that he did it, and I was even more upset when I saw Big Ben trotting his big ass back onto the field, and it was almost like an epiphany. It just hit me like a ton of shit that I knew the Steelers were going to win after Big Ben came back on the field because
We all
that's
did. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
and
absolutely.
the
We've been there. Okay, we've seen this
oh
before.
yeah.
Yeah, both of those games, the Minnesota game and that Cincinnati game, there was a moment at the end where I declared that the Bengals won and the Vikings won. I like told somebody, I'm like, "Oh my God, the fucking Bengals won!" And then, yeah,
You
Jeremy
were
Hill.
wrong. Okay, so
I was wrong.
moving on to the handily most controversial game of the weekend. The Minnesota Vikings defeated the Seattle Seahawks in Minnesota by a score of 12-10, but not really. Lutz, tell them what actually happened.
Can I banana us in?
Oh, you want me? You want me to banana? Okay, here, let's have it.
Banana.
Snap good, spot down. Walsh's kick is up, and it is no good. He missed it.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, it's
The
heartbreaking.
season can't end
How do you like those
that.
bananas?
He missed it left. And the Seattle
They're
Seahawks
sour
are off to Charlotte.
and salty.
Unbelievable. The season can't end like
Unbelievable.
that, he says. Where was that from? That was from K-Fan in Minneapolis, in case I get in trouble for not giving credit to the radio station that I took that from. Lutz, tell them what the guy on K-Fan was talking about just now.
He was really upset because a kicker of a team that actually had scored all 9 of the team's points up to that point, and didn't they lose 10-9? Because he didn't, they didn't get a touchdown. I'm pretty sure it was 10-9.
10-9.
Yeah, you said 12-10, but anyway.
No. I said the Vikings defeated the Seahawks 12-10.
Oh,
because in reality,
yeah,
what happened was the Vikings made the kick because that's what actually happens when you kick a 27-yard.
There's a parallel universe somewhere right now where that did happen and everybody's excited except for the Seattle fans. But the unfortunate universe of luck that we reside in, a 99% probability kick, and of course that statistic comes from not necessarily those weather conditions. Those outliers probably have factors impacting them, like the weather conditions they're dealing with. But dude got laces in. Everybody knows it's laces out, Dan. You don't fucking do that to your kicker. Now, luckily, because he had such a long lob on like the 44 or 47 yards or whatever he did previously, he ended up kicking under the laces, so it gave the ball some loft to go that distance. But I don't know what it was. He shanked this one. The laces did become a problem, and it was so far away that mobsters were looking out of the corner of their eyes like, oh fuck, man, this kind of looks shady right now. I hope nobody suspects it. Because that was just such a shank, dude, for something that was closer than the actual extra point is now. Kind of shady, but it I don't know. Somebody mentioned that I don't want to mention who because it was Skip Bayless, but Richard Sherman. So Richard Sherman, the previous field goal, had come so close,
Right,
as Skip Bayless put it, an eyelash away to blocking it. So he wondered if maybe that made the kicker put a little hustle on his trot up to the ball, and maybe get too cerebral about it or something. But something happened, and I watched this video on YouTube of the fans in the stands recording, and dude, I mean, because it was so unlikely to miss, they straight up just celebrated like he made it, and it took a few moments before some of the people around them all solemn faced pointed out he shanked it. And just the change in emotion, just the stomach falling out of these people, just no.
Yeah,
it was heartbreaking.
It was a tough one, man. It was difficult to watch, but honestly, okay, I'm gonna. We've already done our analysis of what the hell happened in the game. Now here's what I think about the outcome. If Minnesota had won that game like they were supposed to, we would have to play them in the divisional round. And to be honest, I would much rather play Green Bay than Minnesota. Tell them, Bears.
Agreed. Well, the Minnesota game was a lot closer of a game than the game versus the Packers, obviously. And I
for us
think
in the regular season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to. And I think it's largely for this reason. I think we just do not match up well against the Minnesota Vikings because our teams are just so different but the same at the Cardinals. The Cardinals just don't match up well against the Minnesota Vikings. Whereas I think we match up pretty well against the Packers, obviously. We just kind of have their number at this point. And the
I gotta
Vikings.
go on.
Oh, I was gonna say the Vikings they scared me, honestly. The Vikings were just one of those teams where I think Teddy Bridgewater was just gonna lead them to something special if it wasn't negative fucking 100 on Sunday.
I hate that guy's face. I hate Teddy Bridgewater's
He
face
has a very
so much.
punchable face, doesn't he?
Yeah, I hate it. Well, no, because it'd be like assault on a minor.
he has a very childish looking face. Okay. I don't believe there is any chance that we beat Green Bay by 30 points again. That was fun when we did it, but I don't think that we're going to be anywhere near that good. I think that I just hope to God. Oh, I hope it doesn't come down to a field goal. That's all. I just hope that whatever happens in the Green Bay game, that it does not come down to a friggin' field goal. Let's beat them by 4. I do not want to have to beat them by 1, 2, or 3.
Let's just win it and walk away with no injuries. I mean, the Packers aren't necessarily prone to causing injuries, but happens from time to time.
It can happen in any game. Yeah. Although we the last time we played them in the playoffs was that ridiculously fun 51-45 overtime game. I don't know if I want to see that game again.
Man, that was only fun because we won. That was so nerve-wracking otherwise.
Oh, God.
It was like we built such a huge lead, and then it's like, what the hell is happening here?
It was scary. It was pretty damn scary because it really could have gone either way, and I'm glad it went our way. Thank goodness they didn't catch that face mask call that they should have had on Carlos Dansby at the end there when we ended up getting that scoop and score. All right, so there it is, guys. Your wild card weekend. Real quickly, I just want to say the Arizona Coyotes are number 6 in ESPN's NHL Power Poll right now, and Louis Domingue is the first goalie in Coyotes history to have 3 consecutive wins as a rookie goalie, and one of them was a shutout with 29 saves against the Nashville Preds. So go Louis Domingue and go Coyotes!
Awoo! Awoo! That was my intense Coyote sound.
There it is. Werewolves of London. Someone go get your dog to howl for us. Does anyone have a dog around here?
I have a cat. Stupid butt nose.
You have a butt nose? Get your butt nose to howl.
What's a breed?
Okay.
No.
It's time. It's time to go on and talk about the upcoming div round. We're going to do our picks one by one. Let's go ahead and get it rocking and rolling. Kansas City is traveling to New England to take on the New England Deflatriots. Let's start with Mr. Bears. Bears, who's going to win that game?
Patriots.
Just I
don't think that the Chiefs are going to beat the Patriots, especially in Foxborough. Come on. I mean, that is such a gimme of a place to play, especially for the playoffs. The Patriots are no new team for the playoffs, especially with Tom Brady. I mean, how can you not give it to the Patriots? Do I think that the Chiefs have a shot? Hell yeah, I do. That would be a hell of a story. Can you
imagine the Chiefs in the AFC Championship? Can you imagine what a trip that would be? Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship? Oh,
especially starting off 1-5. Nobody would have seen that coming.
Nobody. Okay, Lutz, make your pick. Chiefs at New England. Weird strap on Patriots.
Well, Julian Edelman's supposed to be playing, isn't he?
I'm not even sure. I know the Patriots are a bit banged up, but I actually don't know the specific fate of Mr.
They're a lot banged up, man. I think I read that he's supposed to play, but he's kind of limited in mobility, so he'll have to be adjusting his game. Man, I really want to pick the Chiefs, dude, but I freaking can't. Give me New England, fucking weird ass strap on Patriots.
All right. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to Denver to take on Peyton Manning, who has been declared the starter in this game against the Broncos here. You know what? I didn't pick the last game, by the way. I'm going Chiefs just to be the outlier. Okay.
No, I wanted to pick the Chiefs, dude.
Well, then you can pick the Chiefs. You want to change your mind?
No.
Too late. Time's up. Okay. All right, I'm picking the Chiefs. Okay. Pittsburgh going to Denver to take on the Broncos. Peyton Manning will be starting. Lutz, what does that mean?
That means the Broncos are going to one and done.
Really?
He's like the only guy who can outdo Marvin Lewis for that one and done stat.
Let's have it from you, Mr. Bears. Steelers and Bronx.
It's so weird because I don't think I can. Normally, when I see these games in my head, I can kind of see a back and forth kind of thing, but I'm just drawing such a blank for this game, and I don't honestly know who to pick. But my heart, unfortunately, is telling me to go for the Steelers, just because the Broncos are such a fucking mess right now. Even with Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning, and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but
asterisk regular season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I just don't see the Broncos playing this game very well. I think the Steelers are probably going to take it, unfortunately.
Okay, and I am gonna go with. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with the Steelers too because it's because they're starting Peyton. I know that Peyton came back and won that one game, and I know Red Ghost is gonna want to beat me up for this because I do agree that Peyton looks hungrier than I gave him credit for. Maybe it's because he hasn't had any Papa Johns lately. I don't know. Could be any number of things. But the point is that I feel like Peyton Manning I feel like Peyton Manning doesn't have. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not comfortable in his ability to lead the Broncos to a playoff win right now. I think they should have gone with Brock, but hey, I'm also not an NFL coach, so what the hell do I know? And I was wrong about Peyton Manning in that last game where he came in and relieved Brock Osweiler and ended up leading a game-winning drive. So I obviously didn't know what I was talking about then. Maybe I'm wrong now. I really don't know. But yeah, I got Pittsburgh on that one. Then I think this is a pretty easy game to pick, and not just because we're all Cardinals fans here, but Green Bay at Arizona. We all unanimous Cardinals. Anyone
Yep.
worried about the Packers?
Nope.
I
I
I'm
think it'll
on.
be a closer game.
I think it'll be closer than 30 points, but I think we still handle them. I think that we
Ooh,
I
still.
don't.
ooh,
Yeah,
ooh.
I
Can
don't think
I
it's going to be very much in contention.
You can Bears do it.
actually? I would love to make a score prediction for this one,
Have it.
and I feel it in my nuggets. I want a 30-17 Cardinals game.
30-17, huh?
No, he
30 to
said 30.
17.
We said 3,030 to 17.
That would be
They
pretty
cover the
impressive.
spread.
John Brown is going to have a hell of a day.
Really? Do you actually believe that?
Uh, yeah, fuck it. Why not? John Brown, I'm going to say John Brown, 2 touchdowns,
210
100
yards.
and 200, no, no, like realistically, John Brown, 2 touchdowns and 126 yards.
Okay. I I'm with you. I think that obviously Arizona is going to win this one. And then we're getting to finally what I believe is the marquee matchup of the weekend. As much as I despise both of these teams, this really is the game that I think is going to have the most eyes on it. And that, of course, is the Seattle Seahawks going to Carolina to take on the Carolina Weird Strap on Patriot team. Lutz, who's going to win this one?
Oh man, it's so tough. Like, which one of these teams do I want to beat? I can't even decide. I mean, part of me wants to have Seattle win so that Arizona can beat them in the NFC Championship game. Because even if
In
Carolina beats
Arizona.
Seattle and then we go on to win the Super Bowl, Seattle will still mention, "Oh, well, we beat you guys like in Week 17 when it didn't matter." And like, I want to beat them so I can personally say my team stopped them from winning the Super Bowl. So in that sense, I kind of want Seattle to win, but I kind of believe that Carolina is going to win. So I'm going to take the Panthers to win. They're a better team. The Seahawks got here in like the way of that GIF that you showed me of that guy like flopping around the slide and like hitting the edge of the pool and just sort of like
Did you
falling
see
in the
that one
pool.
on?
Nailed
Did you
it.
see that one on RAZ Cardinals today? Who came as Bears?
Yeah, it's just like
No,
in.
I've
And
seen the
that's
GIF
Seattle's
before
path
though.
to
It's so fucking
The
the
amazing.
dude, the
division
dude
game.
just.
So yeah, I got Panthers, but I want to play the Seahawks and beat them.
Okay, who do you believe is gonna win, Bears?
I'm pretty much the exact opposite from Lutz. I want the Panthers to win, and you guys will probably hate me for this because I absolutely do not want to play the Seahawks in the playoffs. Um, they are probably the scariest team in the playoffs just because they have when they gain momentum, they just fucking go. You know what I mean? Like the Panthers have been the same relatively the whole season. They've been on autopilot in a sense. I mean, it's a good autopilot. You're doing like, you 300 miles an hour, but it's on autopilot nonetheless. That one loss kind of jarred them, but I think the Panthers are a better team, and I think the Seahawks will win it, but I don't want the Seahawks to win it. I want the Panthers to win it because I honestly think we'd have a better shot at
So,
beating the Panthers than we do the Seahawks.
so your prediction of who you believe will win, you believe Seattle's going to win. But
I believe
you don't
Seattle is going
want
to
them
win,
to,
but I don't
but you
want it.
believe them to. Okay, I'm actually
Exactly.
I'm in the exact same boat as Lutz on this one. As to who I believe will win, I suppose it's probably going to be Carolina if I'm predicting. Who I want to win, I want Seattle to win because I want to freaking bump them out of the playoffs. They were so feeble in Minnesota. I am not afraid of them. They only beat us in week 17 because we let them, and I don't want to end the season with them getting bumped out by Carolina. We go on and win the Super Bowl, and then Seattle can talk about how, oh, you guys only won the NFC Championship because you didn't have to play us. We would have knocked your guys' asses out just like we did in Week 17. That's what all the Seahawks fans are going to be
See,
talking
but
about.
that's when you just flash your ring at them,
They can
Richard
flash
Sherman
their damn
style.
rings at us. Well, like
Oh,
for the
whatever.
commercial.
They can have their fucking rings. It would be our year, and everybody knows it. I
Uh,
don't care who beats you in the regular season, especially a fucking week 17 game that we all know didn't fucking matter.
yeah, it did matter.
Seahawks can have their fucking bragging rights or whatever the fuck they want to call them, but if we don't have to play Seattle in the playoffs, like you said, we all know that they're just gonna be like, oh well, we could have beat you guys in the playoffs, but it wouldn't matter. It honestly wouldn't matter. It wouldn't jar me at all. I would just laugh.
Okay, so there's our picks. So we got all of our picks out of the way. I want to ask you guys one last point about Seattle that somebody brought up on Reddit today when we were all talking about how the Seahawks are the goddamn luckiest team in the history of the universe, and the chips just fall their way the fuck too often, and they keep winning these like fluky ass like lucky plays. It seemed to be an increasingly popular opinion on our NFL, which is always anti-Cardinal, by the way. Those fucks on NFL, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, um, that it's not that they're lucky; it's that they don't give up. Okay, the ball is snapped to Russell
A
Wilson.
load of
Hang
shit.
on, if the ball is snapped to Russell Wilson, it flies over his shoulder and bounces back 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Normally, at this point, as an offense, your mindset is, holy shit, go get the ball, don't commit a turnover. Don't even worry about completing the pass. Don't worry about completing this play. Just prevent a turnover. Get the ball, jump on it, take the sack, but do not give a turnover. That's what most quarterbacks do. Most quarterbacks run back and dive on the ball, and then a defensive player will come touch them on their shoulder, plays over, lost 15 yards, punt it, whatever. Russell Wilson didn't do that. He slid back James Bond style on one knee, scooped the ball up, got on his feet, and completed like 37 yards that set them up for the game winning touchdown or the go ahead touchdown. So, what would you say about that? At no point did Russell Wilson feel like this play is over? I need to protect the football. Russell Wilson was still in the mindset of I'm gonna complete this pass. I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna get it done. Is that not true? Am I full of crap? Tell him, Lutz.
No,
No, that's true. But you're still, I mean, you're kind of full of crap. You have to take a dump. Oh, speaking of which, I'll spare you guys. I have a crazy poop story, but yeah, that's true.
So then you would agree. You'd agree it's not so much that they're just super crazy lucky. It's just that they never
But I
assume
mean,
that it's
they
over. They
they
they never they never assume that they're out of a game. They never assume that a play is dead and that it's
no,
time to just call it
definitely
done.
have they definitely have a team entitlement mentality where like they believe they deserve to win every game and the championship. That nobody they match up against deserves that more than they do, and they play that way. But so like I guess to that extent, when lucky breaks do happen, it does swing things in their favor because they've been applying so much positive pressure for themselves anyway. But it's like Minnesota had to miss a 99% field goal for them to win. And like that's not directly, maybe indirectly, but it's not directly anything that they're doing. It's just shit breaks their way, or like that Kearse catch fucking last year in the NFC Championship game, and then going on to beat Green Bay because like Brandon Bostic like pelvic thrust the ball to them and everything on the Green Bay special teams. And it's just like I don't know if other teams, like I was kind of watching some shit about the '85 Bears, and it was mentioning, and this might even deal with like Super Bowl 48 against the Broncos a little bit too, with the Seahawks against the Broncos. How like when you're that formidable, like some teams respond to that by shying away from like getting hit and things like that, and they actually like change the way they play. So there might be some of that going on where teams sort of like panic a bit against the Seahawks just from their reputation. But I don't know. They are getting lucky. Is just kind of like what I'm saying. In some ways, like things just break their way.
How do you feel about that point, Bears?
It's weird because I think it was a really stupid mistake. I mean, it worked out in their favor. Don't get me wrong. And looking back at it, everyone's just going to be like, "Oh, what a smart man, and what a smart quarterback to try and do that." But it really was a stupid idea. Just the thought of it.
Dude, they have stupid ideas all the time. Like, how many times did they go for it on fourth down?
Oh my God! They weren't getting it. They
weren't getting it. They're doing like the first and second quarters and shit. And you're like, what are you guys doing?
Probably just trying to throw off everybody.
No,
And
well,
I mean, look, it worked.
It did, but like, it didn't though, because the intent of going for it on like 4th and 7 is because you want to convert. You don't go for it on 4th and 7 and like fail and then be like, oh, we have them right where we want them. Like that wasn't the plan, you know. It just I don't know. I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to give any credit to these guys because I've. It's like Lute says, man. Your opponent misses the game-winning 27-yard gimme field goal, and you're gonna like celebrate like you just won something. You didn't win. The other team lost. There's a difference. It's not
Oh
about
yeah,
what you did.
that's a really good way to put that
Yeah,
too.
that is a good way to put it. That's the same thing with Green Bay. Like Green Bay lost, Minnesota lost. But then you look at the Seahawks commenting like, "Oh yeah, we handled them." Like they can't just have the humility to say we're lucky as fuck to be
right
in the divisional round at this point.
Well, look at the fan base though. That's just how their fan base acts. And I mean, obviously there's exceptions to that, but they all act like that. They get super sour when they lose, and when they win, no matter how they win, if it was because the other team fucked up or they just generally dominated, they just boast. Like there's no like, oh yeah, the other team played really well, or that play was really smart, or hey, they hit Russell Wilson, damn, but what a play, It's always just like, oh, that guy's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, there was like, oh, we kicked your ass, and like there was Seahawks fans I was talking to on Twitter. Dude, they were so despondent already in like the beginning of the second half, like being down 9-0, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Dude, this is the Seahawks. There's still a whole half of the game and you're down 9 points and like you're freaking out about this. And then they're like, yeah, I guess I'll just like, because they kept saying, yep, season's over. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, you're so goddamn spoiled that because you're not blowing them out right now that it's over. And then they end up like winning the game and they're just like, oh man, you were right. And it's like, yeah, it's like their fans are super annoying. And the ones that aren't, I don't think are on Twitter. So
that's the thing. I want to say this in case there, by some freak chance, a Seahawk fan happens to be in on this podcast, which is pretty unlikely. But if there is one out there, I want you to know I've met some pretty damn cool, respectable Seahawk fans. But it's usually guys that have been fans of the team for a very long time. Anybody who signed on to the Seahawks bandwagon circa 2012 is somebody that I cannot watch football with or even discuss football with. That's just how it's got to be for me. Now, if you've been following the Seahawks since the 1980s when they were just as bad, if not worse, than my Cardinals, man, you're probably a reasonable person.
Even in like the Hasselbeck, like the 2000 Seahawks, if you're just like really into that team prior to Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll and everything, then whatever's.
So I guess what we're saying is we don't like Russell Wilson. Can we agree on that?
No. Yeah.
Bears,
the whole league does.
Yeah, I think so.
I actually canceled my American Family Insurance policy just because he advertised it. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Kairi's Cards Cast. Thank you to Brian Lutz and We Came as Bears for jumping in and saying some shit. Be sure to join us next week when we talk about the Cardinals' glorious, spectacular 51-3 win over the Green Bay Packers. Have a good week, everybody. Let's tell them what to do.
Have a good week, guys. That was my original idea for you.
What, to have a good week?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want you guys to have a good week, too.
Copy.